Hi everyone. I'm in my backyard right now. Where we're at and in behind me is my yard drainage project. It's kept me extremely busy during these past 2 weeks. What I wanted to share was one of the strategies I've needed to use in this. So we're getting into later October, and the landscape fabric staples are no longer sold in store. The product line's being changed over for the coming winter months. So I've had to make my own. So landscape staples or landscape fabric staples are just wire that's been bent into a U shape. So I purchased this 14 gauge galvanized wire, which is this, and I've got a block of wood. This is a 1x4 that's cut to 6 inches tall, and to make the landscape staples is just a matter of cutting a piece of wire 13 inches long and then bending it over the length of wood. So I was going to show how to make one in this video. The benefit of doing it yourself is it's 40% cheaper than buying a commercially prepared version of these. And for all practical purposes, as long as you get 14 gauge wire, you'll end up with the same thing. So the first part of this is cutting a piece of wire 13 inches long. So this is about the right length for it. I'm just going to eyeball it for making this particular video, but I did measure these in the house. Now I'm going to make a cut on a 45-degree angle. And I'm just going to leave it like this so I can show you in the video up close. You'll see where the wire is scored right here. I don't know how clear it is, but the wire I've got on an angle so that when you push it in to the landscape fabric, it's got a point on the end that will cut through the landscape fabric. So I wonder if this might be better for you to see. I'll take a closer photo and display it on the screen when I'm making the video for YouTube and getting it ready. So this is the length of wire, and then bending it over this is really straightforward. So I've done this several times, so little grooves have been forming. So this makes the bottom part down, and then you're just sort of riding it up. I'll do it on this side because there's no numbers on it. You're just sort of pushing it in, straighten it out like this, and then bending it over the top, and then you just keep on going, and then you just keep pushing it down a little at a time. And I'm just sort of pushing it a bit more just to straighten the staple off. Now we can obviously see that I just eyeballed it and this needs to be trimmed to length, but this is essentially what a landscape staple is. And for all that matters, I can just take the cutters and just cut it at a 45-degree angle. It might be easier to see behind my hand again, and score it, and then it's just the same as a paper clip going back and forth, and that metal fatigue breaks it. And then you just take your rubber mallet and pop, 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 and this works fine. So it's just an idea. Partly it's the creative process, so that helps me a whole lot with the pain that I experience. And the other practical part of this is you can save a truckload of money. You know, I've now used about 175 of these landscape staples in there. And the reason is you end up using them to hang it off the walls and to position the landscape fabric how you need it, because it's sort of an odd shape. The bottom line is I could have saved about $15 or so if I had started with, you know, a spool of wire instead of keep on buying more packages of them made off the store shelf. The other big benefit is this lets you set your own length. There are some that you can get more, but they're shorter. So it just puts you in control of what you're needing for your specific product and your specific project. This is the kind of thing that you could do in the evening while watching a video, or if you're just sort of talking to a family member or a friend that's over, you could sit there and work on this while still being engaged in a conversation. So for me, this type of thing, using my hands, helps me extraordinarily a whole lot. That creative part of doing something and then seeing what I'm doing, and this is functional. I'm not doing this for kicks. It's needed right now for the project. It really helps me coexist with the pain that I experience. I will tell you straight up that the first landscape fabric staple that I made was an utter failure. It was crooked, and when I went to nail it in, it just kind of went wide and didn't work. So this is where the 1x4 6 inches long came to mind to work, and it's worked really well. And then you just spread these apart just a little bit, just so it's wider and it's an angle going in, and then you just tap it in the same as you normally would. And with the pointed ends, it does work really well. So it's just a thought for people who need it, people who give it a try. And the principle of this, of course, is to do what you can to help yourself, and the sense of satisfaction or the sense of reward that this brings. Thanks for this time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.